That's an interesting conversation.
What was that?
About Trump.
What about him?
You said, just suppose that people think he might be the Antichrist.
Well, some suggest he's a Jesuit.
What's a Jesuit?
Well, you know the captain of
Jesus follower.
Sort of. You know the captain of the Titanic, except of course it was the Olympic. He was a Jesuit.
Oh, it was the Olympic, yeah, because they swapped everything around.
Yeah,
that was a new ship.
And he was told that he had to kill everyone on there because there were a dozen or so very wealthy people, which would have stopped the Federal Reserve from being founded in America, because it was in 1912, and the Federal Reserve came in, I think, 1930.
Federal Reserve. Yeah, where did they get the money from?
They moved Magic Cat in here.
No shit. Sherlock.
Yeah. So, that was one of the examples of how they twist things around.
The Federal Reserve.
They call it federal, so the Americans...
In Britain, we got the Treasury, haven't we, which is full of gold.
Yeah. Well, no, because Gordon Brown sold it all off when the gold was at its lowest to all his friends.
Where's all our share?
Oh, we don't get any because it was our gold, so they sold it, and now they're keeping the money and the gold.
Okay. So you're talking about Donald?
Yes. Oh, yeah, I said he was a Jesuit, and that's where we got to the Titanic. But also, some are suggesting that he's the Antichrist.
What's an Antichrist?
Well, you know,
somebody who doesn't like Jesus.
Well, Christ was.
So he loves Jesus and doesn't like Jesus at the same time.
No. Christ was supposed to be a good man, but I'm not sure if we talked about Christ and all that sort of thing.
Pass me the nails, pass me the hammer.
But an Antichrist is like basically the devil.
Like in that film, The Omen?
Yes, very similar to that. Except apparently, if he is the Antichrist, then we're going to get 4 years, I think it is. It might be a little bit longer or a little bit shorter. It might be 3, of peace on Earth. Of course, peace is just a temporary cessation of war. And then...
hold on, let me stop you there. So we've got 4 years of peace at the moment.
No, not yet.
Do you fancy holiday?
Where to?
Wonderful place.
Is it warm?
Very.
Oh.
Sierra Leone in Africa.
Not so... It's not so tranquil there.
How about the Middle East then?
It's nice not so tranquil there. Syria?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not so tranquil there.
It's nice and warm this time of year.
Iran?
Yes. Iraq? What was that other place I mentioned in Africa? Began with an S. Somalia. Somalia's nice at this time of year. Tribal warfare going off there. And do you know where all the weapons come from?
The West.
Yeah, Theresa May, Boris Johnson, Donald Trump, George Bush, Tony Blair, David Cameron. They kitted those. Libya is nice at this time of year.
Libya is now the main slave trading country in the world.
Still very nice and warm. They've got beaches there. But there'll be people chasing you with AK-47 Kalashnikovs. So peace for 4 years.
Yeah, apparently.
Have you got your peace? Yeah. Have you bought it from Donald?
We should.
Have you got your peace, everybody?
What would bring peace?
Have you got your knives and your guns?
Is if everybody had a peace.
What good would that crap do? Right? Destroy them all, melt them all down. Remember that film years ago? The Day the Earth Stood Still, and he said, I'm going to blow your planet up, your planetary game sphere, whether it be squared, cubed, diced.
I actually preferred the one
grilled,
with
flat.
What was his name? In Out of the Matrix.
Burnt. With the glasses on.
Yeah.
Can't remember his name now.
Keanu Reeves.
Oh, I was thinking of the other fella that said, "You are the Matrix." Keanu. Neo.
1. Now, this shows you the subliminal programming they've been doing with us for a long, long time. You remember back in the 80s, you had the film Highlander.
Oh, yes.
What was the catchphrase in Highlander? After he killed one of the things, chopped his head off, and he'd go...
What was it? I am the one.
There can be only one.
There can be only one. Now, the pharaoh, Akhenaten or Akhenaten...
There can be only one world government. They've been programming us for years.
World government, George Bush and Soros and all that crap. Up you bum, you...
See you next Tuesday.
What for? Buggery club? I know where they run in a buggery club, and it's at the local...
Yeah, council.
Not Russian. What am I on? Not what you think. I'm not on anything. I've just had turkey for lunch, and it's Jesus Christ. Yeah, very nice, and it's not Jesus Christ Day yet.
Oh, but...
Oh, the Roman Palace I was on about, in the centre of Nottingham. That's where the club is for if you want that sort of stuff.
Oh, it's a very satanic club, that is, you know.
Well, there's all children up there. You know, you go and have a look at the relief inside the council house in Nottingham. There's all these naked children pulling fasciites and all bells and that sort of stuff. And what kind of sick individual
you mean
goes inside there?
At the BBC, they've got that picture of that police type bloke with a little boy right next to his crutch.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Nope. Paedophiles are everywhere.
Anyway, we digress.
So we do.
So what we're talking about? Trump.
Yes, the
and
Antichrist.
World peace for 4 years.
Yes.
Well, where?
Well,
on this planet or another planet?
On this flat surface of this sphere that we may be flattening on.
There was a bit in here where Seth speaks about spheres. Now, can you
Spheres of
remember?
influence?
I'll need to put my glasses on because the print is that small. So excuse me, viewers.
Yes.
Excuse me, viewers.
If we get 3 or 4 years, however long it's supposed to be, of peace, and then apparently he's supposed to be revealed as the devil or the demon or the baddie or whatever, but I'm just hoping he's actually a goodie and not a baddie. And what I've heard about him is true, that there was a military lot behind him that could see that the Satanists and the evil had taken over in America, the Congress and whatnot, and they were going to try and stop it, and they're using Trump, and he's actually giving his wages back to the government for being president.
I can't quite believe that.
That's what it says.
He's giving his wages.
Well, don't forget, he is a multi-millionaire.
Then you've just got too much to chuck away. Why don't you chuck some? No, forget it. Do what you like.
Well, Obama didn't give a single penny back.
What does that tell you? So, just to finish this off, we were having a discussion about Trump when we decided to put the camera on. I was saying he describes himself as a nationalist, but really he's a globalist. Because it's big business everywhere. We agree with that. But just to leave you with a little teaser, a little tidbit for the end. Now, this is right towards the end of Seth Speaks by Jane Roberts. And there's a class member called Bernice. And she says, I was thinking today of the Los Angeles earthquake. And man, and this is... What year is this?
Should tell you on the back, I think.
This book is 1972. And it says a man...
Just before you go on to that, now you know how we had the Grenfell Towering Inferno?
Yeah.
You remember back in this late 70s, early 80s, there was a film called The Towering Inferno?
Yeah, I remember going to see that.
Was that more programming for what they had planned?
Interesting. So yeah, she was thinking about the Los Angeles earthquake today, and a man walked out into the street and was instantly killed by a falling piece of concrete dropped on his head. It says, she asks to Seth, what made this one person in the entire building walk out? Seth replies, this particular individual was quite aware of what would occur on what would you call an unconscious basis. He was not predestined to die. He chose both the time, in your terms, and the method for reasons of his own. Regardless of who chose, she says, it was destined that he died. Seth says, it was not predestined. He chose. No one chose for him. Bernice says, but he had made the decision before. Seth says, before when? Bernice says, before he was killed. Seth says, he knew that he was ready to go on to other spheres of activity. Other spheres of activity. Meaning other planets. So, I guess we're living on a flat Earth.
Well, you see, this is, you know, we've discussed this at some length, and I've come up with the theory that the Earth could actually be a lot bigger than what we believe it is.
How small is small?
Well, if, say the Earth...
How big is big?
Well, it's as big as it can be.
So there is no beginning or end?
No.
So if you go in a billion directions that way, right?
A billion directions?
Sorry, a billion miles, or billion kilometres, so say it's 100 billion miles in that direction. This planetary flat Earth bread that we're living on looks like what? You can't even see it, can you? It doesn't exist.
No.
So then if you come all the way in and you go into your skin and keep going in and in and in and in and in.
You mean like with a microscope?
Yeah. There's no end that way and there's no end this way. So there's the microcosm and the macrocosm.
But here's an idea. This is something I was thinking about and been mulling over for a while. Say that the Earth is 100 times bigger than what we imagine it to be. Now, we're on a little bit at the top here. The rest of the Earth is round like that, but the piece we're on would look reasonably flat. And it does seem we've got a circle of ice around. No one's allowed to go to the North Pole or the South Pole or the Arctic or the Antarctic, one of them anyway. And yet there's a lot of military activity going on, particularly in the Antarctic.
Well, there's rare earth metals there and there's oil and all sorts of crap
there's pyramids
like that.
there.
Right, yes. There's pyramids all over the place. The Bermuda ones, the crystal pyramids, are interesting. But say if our planetary game sphere is flat like that, right? Here's the UK. So I've flown all the way to Germany, and then I've gone to Egypt, and then I've gone to Alaska, and then I've gone to Florida, and then I've come back to the UK. But I've not fallen off.
Fly that way.
I've not fallen off the planet.
Yeah, because they go from here to here, and then they come back again. And the times are quite varied as well, which also makes you think there's something not quite right. And the actual flight paths that the planes take, when they're going to America, they don't fly straight across the Atlantic. They go up and round and back down like that.
Well, you know when you go to Japan, a friend of mine went to Japan, and he flew north of England, over the top of the world, and down to Japan like that, rather than going all the way around, because it was quicker.
Which doesn't sound right, does it?
Well, yeah, you go all the way around the planet, 25,000 miles, 26,000 miles, or you go this way, 18,000 miles. To Japan. Mika Hakkinen, he's not from Japan. He's a mistake to make. Also, Kimi Räikkönen, he's not from Japan. Easy mistake to make. You twigs. You may have to bleep that. Anyway, we're having fun, so we carry on making these KaK M videos. So yeah, basically, he was ready to go on to other spheres of activity. Unconsciously, he looked about for the means and chose those immediately available. This particular individual 3 days earlier had made the plan. There was no predestination involved. It does sound a little bit like the film, doesn't it? Final Destination.
Yeah, but these won't believe that you plan, because they'll say, well, I knew someone that died a horrible death with cancer and all that sort of thing. They wouldn't have chosen that. But in fact, you have had a story we were talking about earlier where that's exactly what happened. Well,
I'll mention that there are no coincidences, because a couple of weeks ago I desired to get hold of something, right, and a friend of it wants it as well, and we just happened to be speaking to a guy, and he went, I know a friend that's got that. Oh, I nearly fell over. So desire is a very big key word.
You don't confuse desire with want. Totally different.
Yeah, don't want or need anything, but if you desire to know something, or you desire to receive something, you can imagine it and desire it that much that actually you'll attract it. There's also the law of repulsion, because at the moment we're repulsed by our negative other selves, who we've mentioned always. They're doing horrible, nasty things. Anyway, we want to leave you on a happy note today, don't we?
Since we're talking about Japan, it reminds me of this Japanese shepherd when he was in trouble, and he said, let's get the flock out of here.
So, let's get the flock out of here.
Dennis Healy. World events do not occur by accident. They are made to happen, whether it is to do with national issues or commerce, and most of them are staged and managed by those who hold the purse strings.